When you hear the word prophet, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For a lot of us, it's a mysterious figure, maybe with a long beard, pointing to the sky and predicting some distant, cataclysmic event. It's an image that can feel intimidating, even a little scary. But what if I told you that's not the main story? What if the primary role of a biblical prophet had less to do with a crystal ball and everything to do with the here and now? You see, in the Bible, prophets were God's chosen messengers. Think of them less like fortune tellers and more like ambassadors, delivering a message from the king. Their job wasn't just to talk about the future. They were tasked with speaking to the past, the present, and the future all at once. They spoke to the past by reminding the people of who God was and the promises He had already made to them. They spoke to the present by holding up a mirror to society, pointing out where people had drifted from God's heart, especially in areas of justice and worship. And yes, they spoke to the future by explaining the natural consequences of the path people were on. This is where we see their messages break down into three essential parts: warning, correction, and hope.
The warning was the if. The prophet Micah, for example, warned that if Jerusalem continued in its corruption and sin, destruction would come. It wasn't a threat out of nowhere. It was a cause and effect reality. Then came the correction. This was the how. It was the roadmap back to health. Prophets like Amos didn't just list problems. They provided the solution, calling for a return to ethical living, to justice, and to righteousness. It was a divine course correction, a plea to turn the ship around before it hit the rocks. And finally, and this is the part we so often miss, there was hope. This was the but even so. Beyond the warning and the call to change, prophets like Isaiah painted a stunning vision of restoration. They spoke of a future where peace would reign, where God's relationship with His people would be fully restored. Hope was always the final anchoring word. Warning, correction, and always hope. So how do we approach these ancient words today without fear or wild speculation?
We start by seeing them not as a secret code to be cracked, but as a revelation of God's consistent character. When we read the prophets, we are invited to understand God's heart. We see what He loves: justice, mercy, faithfulness. We see what grieves Him: oppression, idolatry, pride. These messages show us a God who is deeply invested in the world, who calls us back to Himself, not to control us, but to guide us toward a life that truly flourishes. It changes how you read, doesn't it? These books are not about predicting headlines. They are a timeless invitation to align our heart